Kansas City Chiefs fans, I got some great news for you on running back Isiah Pacheco. We'll tell you everything you need to know coming up in just a matter of moments here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we get to the great news on Isiah Pacheco, folks, I got a challenge for the kingdom today. My father, he is coming into town on Thursday. He'll be here for a few days. And I was thinking, you know what? I want to show my dad a good time. And so here's what I have come up with. I am willing to buy a shot for every new subscriber that we pick up off of today's video for my dad. Could be one shot, could be 5, could be 10, 20, 50, whatever it is. If you want my dad to have a good time, subscribe to the channel for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. You'll get daily news and rumors, live shows each and every Tuesday, be a part of our breaking news, our Q&A mailbags, and more. And you could get my dad hammered in the process. Does that sound like a win-win? I think it does. Let's get dad hammered, and we'll begin today's show. We have great news on running back Isiah Pacheco to get to here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, as we have the latest from OTAs that have been going on over the last few days. And Pacheco, he has, folks, bulked up this offseason. And before you wonder why is that significant here, hear me out on this. We'll explain a little bit further. Last year when Isiah Pacheco went down with the injury and did not look like his normal self, part of what happened, and I don't think too many people know this, was that he lost a decent amount of weight. That him not being able to work out accordingly when he was coming back from that injury affected his playing weight. And he was not necessarily out of shape, but he wasn't his normal self. And according to Pacheco, it affected that aggressive run style that we all know and love from Isiah Pacheco. He was not feeling his typical self. And so over the last couple of months, and he's continued to do this as well, he has hit the weight room in order to try to get back to the Isiah Pacheco we all know and love. Here's more from Pacheco. Just going back to 216, 4.37 Isiah Pacheco style. You're out there working your tail off and you're just sweating every day and not eating enough to get the weight back. There's not going to be as much time to gain weight during the season rather than the offseason and the whole program that they have here for us. To put it simply, he wasn't his normal self last year. And if you go back prior to the injury, week 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals, he was fantastic before he got hurt, and he looked like his normal self, right? But then when you factor in, coming back from injury, and then he wasn't at his normal playing weight, then that starts to add up of why he didn't look right. And he lacked the angry runs. I know that I got some people watching that are big fans of Good Morning Football, and Kyle Brandt's always talking about those angry runs all the time, and we've seen Isiah Pacheco in that segment quite a bit over the years. And that just wasn't who he was at the end of last season. And I would say this, too. We're going to get you a quote from Andy Reid here in just a moment. But as I further investigated this injury and Isiah Pacheco losing some weight and not being at his normal shape, that's not an unusual thing for a fibula injury. The same thing happened to Tony Pollard a couple of years ago with the Dallas Cowboys. And then the next year, after he came back, then he started to look like his former self. So there is reason to be optimistic that Isiah Pacheco's best days are not behind him. And he's caught the attention of his head coach, Andy Reid, as well. Andy saying this. He put on a couple of pounds of good weight. He got himself down there a little bit last year and leaned up. But, man, I think he looks tremendous right now. I think this is all a really good sign. And we won't know for sure till we see it with our own eyes on the football field in live game action. But nonetheless, it is a step in the right direction of seeing that Isiah Pacheco that we saw prior to this injury, that he can make that return and get back up to full strength. Do you believe in Isiah Pacheco? Is he still the guy? I'm still all in on Isiah Pacheco. I haven't lost any faith in his capabilities. What do you guys think? Be honest with me. It's our pinned comment today. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comment section and let us know. So, a couple other interesting points. Not only did he just not have a proper recovery from that injury at the end of last season, and his play weight was affected, but according to Pacheco, just being real and honest with the folks, and I appreciate him for opening up about this, he said all of this affected his mental health. And football is very much a mental game in having your confidence, right? And Pacheco, one of the things he touched on was that as he's gone through this process over the last couple of months, that he's been able to regain his confidence, that his confidence has come back, which I think is another huge thing and a step in the right direction of Pacheco getting back on track in that sense. Pacheco said this: you're out there working your tail off and you're just sweating every day, and not eating enough to get the weight back is not going to be as much time to gain weight during the season rather than the off season and the whole program they have for us. He looks healthier from what we've seen of the small sample size of the visuals, the videos, and all that. He does look like he's starting to get back to his old self. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to Isiah Pacheco, of just the difference from what he was in his first two seasons compared to his third year in 2024. And a lot of it had to do with the offensive line and the issues that were there. We saw in the second half of the year the run game, not just with Pacheco, but really as a whole, kind of disappeared. Pacheco in his first two seasons averaged about 4.7 yards per carry. And last year, that number was down a total yard to 3.7 yards per carry. And I think with Pacheco, what you have to consider is that not only does Pacheco have that talent and that capabilities, and we've seen what he can do at a high level, but I think when it comes to this playing weight and all, he's got to find a way to stay that way. And it's twofold. It's keep the playing weight that he wants, but also staying healthy as well, and avoiding any setbacks in those sense. If he can do those two things, and the mental health is all good and everything, then I feel very confident about Isiah Pacheco. There has been a lot made, especially in the drive-by media, about the running back room in Kansas City and not being good enough. We had heard rumblings that Isiah Pacheco had kind of fallen out of grace with head coach Andy Reid towards the end of last year. And Kareem Hunt didn't look that great in the second half of the season. Rashard Smith you bring in, but he's a rookie and he's a little small. There is a lot of rumblings about, hey, maybe this running back room is not good enough for Kansas City, that they need to go get some help at the running back position. But I'll say this: if Pacheco gets back to his old self, then all of the issues and the concerns, as long as the offensive line is doing their part, those can be fixed by Isiah Pacheco by himself. Pacheco has had a very good start to his NFL career. For the former seventh-round pick out of Rutgers, a two-time Super Bowl champion, led the Chiefs in rushing yards in 2022 and in 2023. And here's what we're talking about, those numbers of the fall-off that we saw in 2024 compared to 2023 and 2022. He had a breakout season that rookie year, taking over as RB1 with 830 yards and nearly 5 yards a carry. Then in 2023, his yards per carry was down, but his yards overall was up nearly 1,000 with 935, and his touchdowns were up to 7 touchdowns. But outside of that Week 2 game against the Cincinnati Bengals, we didn't really see a ton from Isiah Pacheco last season as he was limited to just 310 yards off 83 carries and played in just 7 games in the regular season. So, will Isiah Pacheco be the Chiefs' leading rusher this season? Is he going to bounce back and be that RB1 and be his old self again? You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Get your predictions in now and let me know if Pacheco's going to have a big season or not. Folks, we got a great deal we are offering Chiefs fans right now. It is a framed, signed, printed Mahomes jersey with free shipping. Yes, not just the Mahomes jersey, but also framed and with free shipping as well. And it comes at a great price. You're going to want to get this. It's going to be fantastic for the man cave or wherever you want to put it. I certainly want this thing. Maybe somebody's going to order it for me. Father's Day is coming up around the corner. Maybe you're looking for a gift for dad. Get this for him. chatsports.com/Mahomes15 to get yours now. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Mahomes15 to get yours. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go check it out now, and you'll be glad you did. Some final thoughts here on Pacheco. I believe, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, when he's healthy, I believe Isiah Pacheco is a top 5 running back in the National Football League. And this is a make-or-break year for Isiah Pacheco. The Chiefs have openly said, hey, we're not opening up contract discussions right now. We got to see if you are going to get back to 100% and if you can stay healthy, and then we'll have that discussion down the line. It is a crucial time for Isiah Pacheco. I am hopeful that Isiah Pacheco is going to have a big year and be that guy that we all know and love. But if not, and I feel like we're going to have this answer pretty quickly here, if Isiah Pacheco doesn't look right, I don't think that this is something that you have to address right now if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that they need to be making a big trade or a big free agent signing and go get another RB1 at this point in time. But if Isiah Pacheco struggles and if Smith or Hunt aren't good enough, then maybe it's around the trade deadline or something like that that you can revisit this later and address your options. Or if Pacheco gets hurt again, whatever it may be. But I think for now, the Chiefs are in good shape. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Doesn't cost you a thing. 100% free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.